Hi everyone, I'm Jolene McCoy with Iowa State University Extension. Few people realize that the state of Iowa has a rich history of grape production that dates back to the 1800s. Today we're in Warren County, which in fact has 10% of the state's commercial vineyards located within its borders. We're at Summerset Winery in Indianola, where we're going to go in and talk to owner Ron Mark about his experiences operating a vineyard and winery. So join us as we go on in and hear what he has to say. Well, Ron, thank you for welcoming us here today. Tell us a little bit about Summerset.
Well, Somerset started planting grapes back in 1989. It was a hobby of mine. I'd been doing it since I'd been making wine since I was 15. So when my wife got transferred to Des Moines, the deal was if we were going to go through with this transfer, I'd get to buy my farm, plant my grapes, and not have to move anymore. And she said yes, surprisingly. I had so many grapes, I knew I was going to have to get a license because I couldn't sell all of them. So I started the process, and I ended up with a license and a winery in my garage. And then that turned out to be so tremendously successful that we had to build this facility here. And we've become the biggest winery in Iowa out of my garage.
How many varieties of grapes do you grow here?
Right now we have 8. We did have several experimental varieties, and over the years decided that they weren't going to work because of our extreme cold. So we've torn some of those out. We've replaced a lot of grapes just because the climate here was not conducive, or they were so susceptible to diseases. And so I laughingly say I've probably replaced more grapes than most people have planted.
Why is the wine industry so important to Iowa's economy?
It's great tourism, and California and every other state will tell you that. It's great tourism. People come just to go to the wineries, and they check into the hotel, and they buy gasoline, and they eat in the restaurants. So we're doing a lot of tourism for the state of Iowa that is free to the state. We have all sizes and styles of wineries. There's a lot of them that are very remote in Iowa, and so they need a reason to get people there, so they'll probably start picking up on doing the music and things like that. But it's gone from the amount of colonies back in 1997 to where we now have 76 wineries, I believe it is right now. And in the state, I believe there's over 400 vineyards. And these farmers make, $4,000 an acre. That's a phenomenal amount of money to make on a small farm. My neighbor over here, I probably wrote him $20,000 worth of checks last summer for his grapes. And he only has like 5 acres of grapes. So it's the most value-added crop you can grow in Iowa.
Many people may not realize that Iowa State and Extension have a specialist in viticulture. Tell me about your work with those specialists and how you think that those relationships have benefited your business.
The Extension Service now is putting on classes. They're helping those new grape growers learn what to plant, how to trellis, spray programs, all of those things I wish I would have had back in 1989. Everybody has now. And we also have courses for winemaking. Those are taking place also. And marketing, how to manage your tasting room. All of these things are being put together. And it has come about in the last 10 years. And it is to assure that these wineries are going to be successful. If the wineries aren't successful, then the grape growers aren't going to be successful. So you have to walk hand in hand. And as a board member for the Wine Growers Association, you sometimes get people saying, well, all those people are just thinking about the wineries. Well, we're not. We're doing training, and the Extension Service is out there in their field, helping them out. So they don't see that all came about from the wineries. So it's interesting to see this industry grow, and it's young enough that there's still some rough areas, but Iowa State University has jumped on board, and they're now putting an enology component into their classes so that you can graduate from the food sciences program and be a winemaker. And what a fun life.
What does the future hold for wineries in Iowa and for Somerset?
I've told people it only takes a divorce to get rid of a winery, because I've seen it happen. And so there will be wineries come and there will be wineries go. And those people that have chosen location, and quality assurance, and that they have a business plan in place that works well, will probably be successful. And if the wineries are excellent, then people will buy their wine, and then the wineries will buy the grapes, and then it just keeps growing and growing and growing. So I think that we are getting close to being as good as Missouri. Missouri, it took them 20 years to get 5% of the wine sales in the state. Iowa, we got 5% after about 7 years. So Iowans are grabbing hold of this and saying, this is what we want, a little culture. So we're ending up with people of different mindsets trying to figure out where they're supposed to be and how they're going to get there. But with the help that we've put in place, there shouldn't be anybody making bad wine, for one thing, because of the Institute at Iowa State. And there shouldn't be anyone that doesn't know how to market and sell their wine because of the other things we have put in place. I can't see this going backwards. I can see that it is probably going to continue to grow. There will probably be a shakeout, and there will be some successful wineries and some that aren't. But I think we're going to find out that most of them are going to be okay. This is one I like. I like them all, but this is the one that you'll find me liking more of.
Thank you. Cheers.
Oh, molto bene.
Another Warren County winery that we're visiting is Two Saints, located near St. Charles. This winery began production in 2006. Join me as we go inside and see what's up. Well, here we are inside Two Saints Winery. With me is Christine Carlton. Christine, thank you for having us here today.
You're very welcome.
Tell us about Two Saints.
Two Saints Winery is a fairly new winery. We've been open since February of 2008. We have 10 acres of grapes, and we have a variety of different wines ranging from sweet to dry. We have 14 different wines.
Tell us what Two Saints is known for.
Typically, we're known for our drier wines. We have dry whites and dry reds. There's a lot of wineries that make sweet wines, but we've kind of wanted to get into the little drier market. Would you like to try one of our dry wines?
Sure.
Okay. This is our Lacrosse. It's a nice, light, fruity white wine. It's great with fish. I love it. Would you like to take it outside, and you can check out our deck and see the view that we have here?
How is the wine industry benefiting Iowa's economy?
I think it's a tremendous benefit. We have a lot of travelers off the interstate, and they stop and they go to the covered bridge festivals. They ask what restaurants are available, where we can eat, what sites there are to see. So I think it's tremendous.
You mentioned working with Iowa State University Extension. Tell us a little bit about your collaboration with Extension and Iowa State.
They've been phenomenal. Mike White does a weekly newsletter that I always pick up new tips or reminds us about something about the vineyard. They talk about pests, great varieties. It's just been leading the whole industry.
What are the plans for the future here at Two Saints?
We initially planned to plant 20 acres of grapes. We have 10, and that takes about most of our time to take care of. So we may expand, we may just keep with our 10.
From the 1800s through today, you can see how the wine industry is continuing to add value to Iowa's economy. Christine, thank you for welcoming us here today.
You're very welcome. Cheers.
Cheers.